Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist? The lock finally gives way under my picks. A satisfying click echoes through the crypt, followed by the groaning of ancient hinges as I pull open the Victorian iron safe. The sound feels obscenely loud in the suffocating silence beneath St. Augustine's Episcopal Church. My breath catches in my throat. Instead of the leather-bound diary promised by my client, a single object rests on the red velvet interior. A daguerreotype, one of those old silver plate photographs housed in a tarnished brass frame. The face that stares back at me freezes my blood. Benjamin, my mentor, the man who taught me to crack safes like this one, who raised me after I was orphaned. He looks younger, healthier than the gaunt, coughing shadow who died in my arms last winter. But it's the woman beside him that makes my hands tremble. I've only seen her face once before, in a crumpled photograph Benjamin kept hidden in his pocket watch. My mother, the woman who supposedly died bringing me into this world. And in her arms, a swaddled infant. Impossible, I whisper, my voice swallowed by the damp stone walls. I flip the heavy plate over, fingers slipping on the polished metal. An inscription, etched in flowing script. Some tombs hold more than bones. Yours awaits. The daguerreotype slips from my grasp, clattering against the stone floor, but miraculously not shattering. A sound comes from above, the hollow echo of the church's side door opening. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate, descending the stairs to the crypt. I snatch up the photograph, shoving it inside my jacket. My lantern, too bright now. I extinguish it with a quick twist, plunging myself into darkness. The footsteps pause. Is someone there? A woman's voice, cultured, with the distinctive Savannah drawl of old money. I press myself against the cold stone wall, holding my breath. My eyes adjust to the darkness, picking out the faint outline of the stairwell from the dim light filtering down from above. A silhouette appears. Slender, feminine. The gleam of a small pistol in her hand catches what little light there is. "I know you're here," she says, voice steady. "I've been waiting for you, Mr. Vance." My name on her lips sends ice through my veins. I've never met this woman. My client swore absolute secrecy. She takes another step down. "Benjamin said you'd come eventually. He always had faith in you." Benjamin, dead almost a year, yet she speaks of him in present tense. The beam of her lamp sweeps across the crypt, coming dangerously close to my hiding spot. "I have what you're looking for," she continues, "the real diary, and answers about your mother." The light stops, illuminating the open safe. "Oh dear," she whispers, a tremble finally breaking through her composed facade. "You found it? Then they already know you're here." The church bell above us begins to toll, though it's hours from dawn. 3 sharp, urgent peals that seem to vibrate through the very stones. Her head snaps up. "Run," she hisses, "now." Heavy footsteps thunder above us, multiple sets, men shouting orders. I hesitate, caught between the mysterious woman and whatever threat approaches from above. The light blinds me as she swings her lamp directly into my face. "Your mother's grave is empty, Elias," she says rapidly, "and so is Benjamin's. Find me at Bonaventure when you're ready for the truth." The lamp crashes to the ground, shattering and plunging us into darkness once more as the thunder of boots reaches the top of the crypt stairs. I slip out through a forgotten drainage tunnel, emerging behind the church as shouting echoes through the grounds. My clothes are soaked with fetid water, and my hands bleed from scraping against rusted grates, but I'm alive. Dawn breaks over Savannah as I hurry through deserted streets, the daguerreotype burning against my chest. Questions pound in my head with each footfall. Benjamin lied about my mother, about everything. I duck into the shabby boarding house where I've been staying under a false name. Mrs. Winters, the owner, doesn't look up from her knitting as I pass. Payment in advance buys discretion in this part of town. Once inside my room, I barricade the door and pull the photograph from my jacket. In the gray morning light, the details are even more unsettling. My mother's face, my eyes, my jawline, staring back at me. The church in the background, festooned with garlands. A celebration, not a funeral. The inscription mocks me. Some tombs hold more than bones. Yours awaits. I need answers. I need to see those graves. The mysterious woman mentioned Bonaventure Cemetery. I know it well. I've robbed mausoleums there twice before. But Savannah has dozens of cemeteries. Without knowing where Benjamin and my mother are buried, I'll be searching blindly. A knock at my door sends my heart racing. "Telegram, sir." A boy's voice, nothing more. I crack the door open. A street urchin holds out a yellow envelope, palm extended for payment. I toss him a coin and shut the door before he can speak. The telegram is brief. Records Office, Eastern Wing, Filing Cabinet 47C. They're watching. No signature. The same elegant handwriting as the inscription on the photograph. I pace the small room. It could be a trap, but without the cemetery records, I'm at a standstill. A church bell sounds in the distance, St. Augustine's. The same urgent peal I heard in the crypt. I approach the window cautiously. 3 blocks away, black smoke rises from the church spire. "Christ," I mutter, watching flames lick at the ancient stone. The archive, the evidence. Someone is destroying it all. I gather my tools and slip out the back exit, avoiding Mrs. Winters. The city records office isn't far, a stately brick building near the courthouse. By now, the fire at St. Augustine's has drawn most of the authorities away. The lock on the side entrance yields easily to my picks. Inside, dust motes dance in shafts of light from high windows. No clerks in sight. They've likely joined the spectators at the church fire. The eastern wing is a cavernous room lined with identical filing cabinets. I find 47C and force the lock, rifling through dozens of folders until I find what I'm looking for: cemetery plots and burial records. I scan down to the V's. There it is, Vance, Margaret, my mother. Plot 219, Laurel Grove Cemetery. Not Bonaventure as the woman claimed. And nothing for Benjamin. I check under every variation of his name. Nothing. A floorboard creaks behind me. I whirl, knife already in hand. "Easy, boy." A man emerges from the shadows. Tall, elegant in an undertaker's black suit. I recognize him instantly. He officiated at Benjamin's funeral. "Reverend Harris," I say, keeping the knife steady. He smiles thinly. "You won't need that. I'm here to help." "Like you helped Benjamin into his grave?" "Benjamin isn't in any grave, Mr. Vance, as I suspect you're beginning to realize." My knife doesn't waver. "Explain. The woman you met, did she tell you to come here?" I say nothing. Miss Abernathy can't be trusted. She was Benjamin's associate before he saw the truth about what they were doing. What who was doing? He gestures to the file in my hand. "You found your mother's resting place. Good. But it's not her bones you'll find there." Stop speaking in riddles. The Brotherhood needed to hide certain things. Artifacts, texts, things that would draw unwanted attention. Your mother discovered one such hiding place. It cost her her life, or so Benjamin believed. I stepped back, mind racing. The diary, the one I was hired to steal. A fabrication, bait to draw you in. Harris glances nervously at the windows. We don't have much time. They'll realize the fire hasn't destroyed everything. Who is they? The same people who have been watching you since Benjamin took you in. The same people who hired you to steal a non-existent diary. He produces a key from his pocket. This will open your mother's crypt. What you find there will answer your questions. A crash from the front of the building. Voices shouting orders. Harris presses the key into my palm. Go, now. Use the service exit. He nods toward a door at the back of the room. And Elias, trust no one, not even me. I back away, clutching both the key and the file. Why help me? I owed Benjamin, and I owe God more. His face twists with something like grief. Some sins can't be forgiven, but perhaps they can be amended. The voices grow closer. I turn to flee, and Harris calls after me. Midnight boy, you must be there at midnight. I slam through the service door into blinding sunlight, the shouts of pursuers at my back. As I sprint down an alley, a terrible thought stops me cold. I never told anyone I was going to the records office. No one except the woman from the crypt. She knew I would come here. She sent me here. And now men are hunting me through the streets of Savannah as the church that held the first clue burns to ashes behind me. Laurel Grove Cemetery stretches before me, a labyrinth of marble and shadow in the fading twilight. I've been hiding among the tombs for hours, waiting for darkness. The key Harris gave me weighs heavy in my pocket. Every rustle of leaves makes me tense. Are they Brotherhood men? Followers of the mysterious Miss Abernathy, or merely the usual denizens of a cemetery after dark? Mourners, vagrants, or couples seeking forbidden privacy? I check my pocket watch. 2 hours until midnight. Harris's warning echoes in my mind. What happens at midnight? Moving cautiously between monuments, I search for plot 219, my mother's supposed resting place. The graves grow older and more elaborate as I venture deeper into the cemetery. A memory surfaces, Benjamin teaching me to pick a mortuary lock. Never steal from the dead, Elias, he'd said, his calloused fingers guiding mine. Unless the dead have stolen first. I'd thought it was just another of his cryptic sayings. I find plot 219 nestled beneath a massive oak dripping with Spanish moss. The mausoleum is small but ornate, carved with symbols I recognize from churches across Europe. Professional knowledge. I've stolen from enough holy places to recognize the iconography of saints and martyrs. Margaret Vance, the stone reads, beloved wife and mother, 1845-1870, the year of my birth. The lock is ancient but well-maintained. The key slides in smoothly. I hesitate, suddenly afraid of what I might find. What if Harris was right? What if there are no bones? The door swings open with a groan. I light a small lantern and step inside. The tomb is bare except for a stone sarcophagus in the center. No cobwebs, no decay. Someone has been maintaining this place, recently. I set down my lantern and push against the heavy lid. It moves more easily than expected, sliding aside to reveal nothing. No coffin, no bones, just an empty stone box. No, not entirely empty. At the bottom lies a single playing card, the Queen of Hearts, yellowed with age. I reach for it, and as my fingers touch the paper, I notice something else. The bottom of the sarcophagus isn't stone, it's wood, painted to match. A false bottom. I tap it, hollow. Edges barely perceptible unless you're looking for them. Most people don't get this far. I whirl around, nearly knocking over my lantern. Miss Abernathy stands in the doorway, her silhouette outlined against the night sky. Where is she? I demand. Where is my mother? She steps inside, keeping her distance. Not here. She hasn't been here for 23 years. You said Bonaventure. You lied. I needed to see who you'd trust. Harris found you, just as I predicted. She removes her gloves slowly. Did he give you a key? I say nothing. And a time? Midnight, perhaps? She laughs softly. So predictable. Who are you? Who was Benjamin to you? Your mother called him Ben. They were close.
I was his student before you. Then his partner. In all things. Jealousy, unexpected and irrational, flares within me. He never mentioned you. He wouldn't have, not after what happened in London. She approaches the sarcophagus, stopping opposite me. The false bottom. Have you opened it? Not yet. Do it now. We don't have much time. I hesitate, torn between curiosity and caution. For God's sake, Elias, they'll be here at midnight. The brotherhood. Harris has betrayed you, just as he betrayed Benjamin. My fingers find the edge of the false bottom, lifting it away. Beneath is a shallow compartment. Inside lies a small leather journal and a folded piece of paper. The diary, I whisper. Not the one they told you about. This is your mother's journal. Miss Abernathy's eyes gleam in the lantern light. The truth about what she found beneath the church. I reach for the journal, but pause as the sound of carriage wheels crunches on gravel outside. Too late, Miss Abernathy. She hisses. They're early. She blows out the lantern, plunging us into darkness. Moonlight filters weakly through the mausoleum door. Take the journal and the map, she whispers. There's a passage behind the sarcophagus. An old smuggler's tunnel. It leads to the river. What about you? I'll distract them. She presses something cold and metal into my hand. A pistol. Benjamin taught me how to shoot too. Voices approach outside, men giving orders in hushed tones. I recognize one immediately. Reverend Harris. Go! Miss Abernathy pushes me toward the back of the mausoleum. I shove the journal and folded paper into my jacket, feeling along the wall behind the sarcophagus. My fingers find a seam, then a latch, cleverly disguised as decorative stonework. A section of the wall swings inward, revealing a narrow, dank passage. The smell of the river wafts up from the darkness. Miss Abernathy, I whisper, turning back. Who are they? What do they want? She's silhouetted in the doorway, pistol raised. They call themselves the Keepers of the Veil. They believe some truths must remain buried. Her voice hardens. They killed your mother when she discovered their secret. They've hunted Benjamin and me ever since. And the journal? It proves what they've done, what they're still doing. Footsteps crunch just outside. Go, Elias. Find the Isabella Grace at the South Docks. The captain is expecting you. I slip into the passage, pulling the wall closed behind me. Through the crack, I see Miss Abernathy step out of the mausoleum to face the approaching men. Gentlemen, she says coolly, you're late for our appointment. The wall clicks shut, sealing me in darkness. I light a match, illuminating rough stone walls slick with moisture. The tunnel stretches ahead, sloping downward. Behind me, muffled by stone, comes the sharp report of a pistol, followed by shouts and a woman's scream that cuts off abruptly. I run, the match burning my fingers before I drop it, navigating by touch alone through the suffocating blackness. The journal bounces against my chest with each step, its secrets still unknown. The tunnel seems endless. Water seeps in, first at my ankles, then rising to my knees as I approach the river. The roar of the current grows louder. Finally, the passage opens onto a narrow bank beside the churning Savannah River. The night is clear, the moon casting silver light across the water. I scan the docks downstream, searching for the Isabella Grace. A ship's bell rings out, 3 times, the same pattern as the church bells this morning. I spot a sleek schooner moored at the farthest pier, lanterns burning on her deck. As I move toward it, splashing through the shallows, I unfold the paper from the tomb. It's not a map as Miss Abernathy claimed. It's a ship's manifest from 23 years ago, listed among the passengers sailing from Savannah to Liverpool. Benjamin Carter, Margaret Vance, and infant. My breath catches. They fled. Together. With me. But halfway down the manifest, a customs official's notation. Ship lost with all hands off Bermuda, May 1870. Yet Benjamin raised me in London. He returned to Savannah with me years later. I stare at the Isabella Grace, the same name as the ship supposedly lost at sea 2 decades ago. A ghost ship waiting for me in the night. And I realize with sickening clarity, nothing I've been told is true. Not by Benjamin, not by Harris, not by Miss Abernathy. The journal suddenly feels like it's burning through my jacket. I need to know what's written inside. I need to know who I really am. Before I can open it, a blinding light sweeps across the riverbank. A bullseye lantern from the deck of the Isabella Grace, pinning me in its beam. "That's far enough, Mr. Vance," calls a familiar voice from the ship. "I believe you have something that belongs to us." Reverend Harris steps into the light on the schooner's deck, his clerical collar replaced by an ornate medallion gleaming at his throat. Behind him stand at least a dozen men in dark coats. And beside him, unharmed and smiling coldly, stands Miss Abernathy. "The performance at the mausoleum was quite convincing," Harris calls out, his voice carrying over the lapping water. "Miss Abernathy has always had a talent for theatrics." I back away from the light, mind racing. The pistol she gave me feels impossibly heavy in my hand. I raise it, aiming at the shifting figures on deck. "6 shots, Miss Abernathy," calls out. 13 men. Poor odds, Elias, even for someone of your talents. "You set me up," I snarl, "from the beginning." "Not entirely." She steps forward, the light catching the ruby pendant at her throat, identical to Harris's medallion. "We needed to know if you could find what Benjamin hid. You've exceeded expectations." My back presses against the stone wall of the embankment, trapped between the river and the keepers. "What is this really about?" I demand. "What's in the journal?" "Proof," Harris answers, "of something that would destroy the faith of millions, a secret the Brotherhood has kept for centuries." "You're lying. This is about power, money." "Such mundane motivations," Miss Abernathy sighs. "You disappoint me, Elias. This is about the very foundation of belief itself." A memory surfaces. Benjamin, drunk on the anniversary of what he claimed was my mother's death, muttering about what they found beneath the altar. I dismissed it as grief-induced rambling. "The crypt," I say slowly. "There's something else hidden in St. Augustine's." Harris and Miss Abernathy exchange glances. "Clever boy," she says, "but not clever enough. The fire destroyed what remained." The journal feels heavier against my chest. I need to read it, to understand what drove my mother to her death and Benjamin to lies. The water of the Savannah River churns behind me, black and uninviting. I might make it across, but not with bullets in my back. A distant church bell tolls midnight. Something shifts in Harris's expression. "Time's up," he says. "The journal, Mr. Vance, now." "And then what? You'll let me go?" Miss Abernathy laughs. "You're the son of Margaret Vance, the protege of Benjamin Carter. What do you think?" I think of the daguerreotype, my mother alive and holding me, years after she supposedly died. Benjamin beside her, young and vital. Tell me one truth, I demand. Is my mother alive? Silence stretches between us. Then Harris speaks. Margaret Vance died 23 years ago. That much is true. Then who is the woman in the photograph? Another exchange of glances between my adversaries. Give us the journal, Miss Abernathy says, and we'll tell you everything. A lie. I can see it in her eyes. The same look Benjamin had when teaching me to fleece grieving widows with false seances. Once they have what they want, I'm disposable. I make my decision in an instant.
I fire 2 rapid shots, not at the figures on the boat, but at the bullseye lantern. The glass shatters, plunging the scene into darkness as men shout and dive for cover. In the confusion, I plunge into the river. The current catches me immediately, colder and stronger than expected. I struggle to keep the journal dry, holding it above the water with one hand while swimming with the other. Gunshots crack behind me, bullets slapping the water nearby. I dive deeper, letting the river carry me downstream, away from the Isabella Grace. When my lungs scream for air, I surface briefly, gulping oxygen before submerging again. The journal is soaked through, but still intact. The river bends, carrying me away from the city lights. When I finally drag myself onto a muddy bank nearly a mile downstream, my muscles burn with exhaustion. No pursuit yet, but they'll come. The keepers want this journal badly enough to kill for it. I find shelter beneath a weathered dock, partially collapsed from age. The splintered wood offers some protection from the night air as I carefully open the waterlogged journal. Much of the ink has run, the pages stuck together, but portions remain legible. My mother's handwriting, delicate yet determined, documenting her discoveries. May 12, 1870. B took me back to the crypt tonight. The markings on the lower wall are definitely not decorative. They match the codex found in Jerusalem last year. May 15. Breakthrough! The stone moved, revealing a chamber untouched for centuries. B insists on secrecy. The Brotherhood must not know until we understand what we found. May 20. The artifacts are unlike anything in the church records. Pre-Christian, possibly Essene in origin. The scrolls contain a narrative that contradicts. Ink blurred. May 23. We must flee. Harris discovered us in the chamber. He speaks of heresy, of protecting the faith from truth. How can truth destroy faith unless faith is built on lies? May 24. B.
Has arranged passage to England. We leave tonight with the most damning evidence. I've hidden copies of my notes and the translation where Harris won't think to look. God forgive me, but the world deserves to know. The final entry chills me to the bone. May 25. They found us, Harris and his men. B says we must separate to survive. He will take the baby to the rendezvous point. I will lead them away with false documents. If you are reading this and I have not returned, know that what lies beneath St. Augustine's is proof that the church has. The rest is illegible, the ink washed away by river water and time. I close the journal, mind reeling. My mother and Benjamin discovered something beneath the church, something the Brotherhood, these keepers of the veil, killed to keep hidden. A twig snaps nearby. I freeze, listening intently. Spread out, a man's voice commands softly. He can't have gone far. They've found me. I clutch the ruined journal to my chest, searching desperately for an escape route. Footsteps splash in the mud, coming closer. I press deeper beneath the dock, praying the shadows will conceal me. A lantern beam cuts through the darkness, sweeping across the riverbank. It passes inches from my hiding place. "Sir?" a voice calls. "Tracks here, heading into the marsh." The footsteps recede, following the false trail. I allow myself a small breath. Then a hand clamps over my mouth. "Not a sound," whispers a voice in my ear. A woman's voice, but not Miss Abernathy's. older, with a hint of an accent I can't place. I try to twist away, but she holds me firmly. "I'm not with them," she hisses. "I've been watching you since you entered the cemetery." She releases her grip slightly. "Margaret sent me 23 years ago." My heart stutters. My mother is dead. Is she? The woman's face is in shadow, but I can feel her studying me. "What do you really know, Elias Vance? What has Benjamin told you about your birth?" "Nothing."
He said my mother died in childbirth. A soft, bitter laugh. Benjamin Carter has been many things, but never a convincing liar. She tugs my arm. "Come, they'll realize their mistake soon." "Who are you?" "Someone who's waited a very long time to fulfill a promise." She pulls me from beneath the dock. "The answers you seek aren't in that journal. They're where it all began." "The crypt? It's burned." "Fire cannot destroy stone, child. What your mother and Benjamin found is still there, sealed away. As is the truth about who you really are." A shout comes from the marsh. "They've discovered the track's end." The woman curses under her breath. "We have no time. Follow me precisely." She leads me through tangles of cypress knees and sucking mud, navigating the treacherous terrain with uncanny precision. We emerge near a dilapidated boathouse where a small skiff waits, half hidden among the reeds. "Get in," she commands. "Stay low." As she pulls us silently through the marsh, I study her face in the moonlight. There's something hauntingly familiar about her features, something that echoes the daguerreotype. "You knew my mother," I say. "It's not a question." "Better than anyone." She doesn't look at me. "Better than Benjamin ever did." "And the brotherhood? The keepers of the veil?" Her lips tighten. "Fanatics who believe faith requires ignorance, who think truth and belief cannot coexist." "What truth? What did they find?" She is silent for a long moment, guiding the skiff through a narrow channel. "Proof," she finally says, "that the church's founding narratives were constructed, altered to serve those in power." "That's what this is about? Historical records?" She laughs bitterly. "Your mother was killed for those historical records. Benjamin has spent 23 years running from what they reveal." Her eyes, reflecting moonlight, fix on mine. "And you, Elias Vance, were born into this mystery, whether you wished it or not." The skiff emerges into open water, the lights of Savannah visible in the distance. She points to a decrepit warehouse at the edge of the industrial district. There, safety, for a few hours at least. As we approach, a terrible realization dawns on me. I know this place. Benjamin brought me here once, years ago, to recover a stolen chalice. He knew the owner. "This is one of Miss Abernathy's properties," I whisper, reaching for the pistol. Too late. A sharp pain blooms at the base of my skull, and darkness claims me before I can turn around. My last conscious thought, the woman's face, transforming in the moonlight, age falling away like a veil to reveal features I've seen before. In the mirror, every day of my life.
I wake in darkness, the musty smell of damp wood surrounding me. My head pounds, a dull throb that matches the rhythm of my heartbeat. I blink, trying to make sense of my surroundings. The last thing I remember is that woman's face, the one that twisted into a familiar mask just before I lost consciousness. I push myself up, my hands bracing against the cold floor. The air is thick and stale, and I realize I'm in a cramped space, the kind of place where secrets are buried deep. I'm lying on a wooden surface, likely a table, covered with dust and cobwebs. I sit up fully, heart racing. The memories flood back. Miss Abernathy, the journal, the keepers. What did she want? What truth lies buried beneath the weight of all these lies? I glance around, straining to hear any sounds. The creaking of wood, the gentle lapping of water nearby. I'm alone, but not for long. I need to act. Grabbing the edge of the table, I pull myself to my feet. The room is dimly lit by a single flickering lantern in the corner. Shadows dance along the walls, revealing old crates and cobweb-covered furniture. With careful steps, I move towards the lantern, its feeble light illuminating the space. A door stands ajar on the far side, and I approach cautiously, every instinct screaming for me to be ready for anything. I push the door open. It creaks ominously, revealing a narrow hallway that leads beyond. My breath catches as I step out, half expecting someone to ambush me. But the hallway is empty, lined with faded photographs and dusty relics that seem to whisper forgotten stories. I move forward, driven by an urgency I can't quite articulate. My mother's journal, the key to understanding my past, sits heavy in my pocket. I need to decipher its contents, to uncover the truth that could shadow everything I thought I knew. A sudden noise halts me. Voices, low and urgent, echo from somewhere ahead. I press myself against the wall, straining to listen. My heart races as I hear the unmistakable tones of Reverend Harris mixed with a woman's voice, Miss Abernathy. "He's too close to the truth. We can't let him find out," Harris says, his voice dripping with a cold authority. "Elias is different," she replies, a hint of desperation creeping in. "He deserves to know what we discovered, what we risked everything for." "Risked everything for?" I mutter, confused. What could they have uncovered that was worth so much? I inch closer to the source of the voices, heart pounding as I grasp the journal tightly. A part of me wants to confront them, to demand answers, but another part warns me to be cautious. "The Brotherhood will stop at nothing to silence him," Harris continues. "We can't allow that." I peer around the corner. They stand in a larger room, surrounded by old maps and artifacts laid out on a table. The atmosphere is thick with tension, and I can see Miss Abernathy's face, lit by the lantern light, twisted with a mix of anger and fear. "Do you think they care about the truth?" she snaps. "They only care about power. Elias is the last link to what we found, the last chance to reveal the reality behind the veil." The last link? I swallow hard. What have I gotten myself into? Suddenly, a figure steps into the lantern light, a man dressed in dark clothing, the emblem of the Brotherhood emblazoned on his jacket. I recognize him from the crypt, one of the men who had been chasing me. "Enough chatter," he growls, looking between the two of them. "We need to move now. The others are coming." My heart races. I can't wait any longer. I need to make my presence known or slip away while I still can. But what will I say? What will I do? Just then, the door creaks again. I step back, but it's too late. The door bursts open, and I find myself face to face with a pair of cold eyes. Harris's. "Elias," he barks, "you shouldn't be here." "Shouldn't I?" I shoot back, adrenaline surging through me. "What are you hiding?" He glances at Miss Abernathy, frustration flickering across his face. "You shouldn't have let him go." "Stop playing games," I demand, forcing my way into the room. "Tell me what you found. Tell me about my mother." Harris straightens, his presence suddenly imposing. "Your mother was a threat to everything we've built. What she discovered beneath St. Augustine's was never meant for you," Abernathy interjects, stepping in front of me. "Elias, listen to me. They killed your mother because she was close to exposing the truth." "What truth?" I ask, desperation creeping into my voice. "What did she find?" Harris scoffs, shaking his head. "You think you want to know? This isn't about you. It's about preserving the order of things." "Preserving lies," I shout, my anger boiling over. "It's about keeping the truth buried." "Truth is subjective," Harris replies, his tone condescending. "What you perceive as truth can dismantle faith itself. Your mother became a liability." And you think killing her was the answer? I step closer, fists clenched. You're a monster. Enough, Harris roars, but before he can react, Abernathy's voice cuts through the tension. Elias, the journal, she urges, eyes locked onto mine. You have to understand. What's written inside isn't just history. It's a map to what was hidden, the key to everything. I pull the journal from my pocket, clutching it tightly. What do you mean? The Brotherhood believed your mother's findings would unravel their control. They've hidden the truth for centuries, about faith, about history, about power, and they'll kill anyone who threatens to expose it. I look at her, realizing the gravity of her words. So what does that mean for me? It means you're more important than you know, she says. You have the chance to change everything, to reveal what they've buried. I shake my head, overwhelmed. But how? I don't even know where to start. Start by trusting the journal, she insists. And trust me, we need to get to the church. There's a reason your mother returned there before she died. It's not just about the past, it's about the future. Enough, Harris interrupts, panic rising in his voice. You're both fools. The Brotherhood will come for you, Elias. You think you can change anything? I look at him, the truth dawning on me. You're scared. He steps back, eyes narrowing. I'm not afraid of you. You're afraid of the truth, I reply, feeling a surge of confidence. The truth about what you've done. Before he can respond, I turn to Miss Abernathy. Let's go. We need to get to St. Augustine's. Are you ready for this? She asks, concern etched across her features. I don't have a choice, I say, determination flooding through me. I need to understand. Together, we move toward the door, the weight of our mission pressing down on us. I don't know what awaits me at the church, but I know it's the only way to uncover the truth about my mother, about Benjamin, and about the shadows that have loomed over my life. As we step into the night, I can feel the air thick with anticipation. The truth is out there, buried beneath layers of deception, and I'm determined to unearth it no matter the cost. The streets of Savannah stretch before us, a labyrinth of darkness and light. I can hear their voices echoing in the distance. The keepers are coming. But this time, I won't run. I'll stand my ground. I'll face the truth. And finally, I'll discover who I really am.